Hi guys, welcome to another movie discussion segment. With the Halloween season coming up, I thought we'd talk about musicals because that makes sense. Pope, what is your favorite musical?
My favorite musical is, I'm gonna be on, TBH, Shrek the Musical.
Really?
Everyone thinks like it's a joke, and I think it's great. Like I actually saw it when it came to Pittsburgh with my friend. My friend and I obsess over it. We love, like the soundtrack is so good and like meaningful, and like, you know, you shed a tear. And like it does follow the same plot as like the movie.
Right.
But there's like so much more added comedy
And
to it.
the movie doesn't have songs, so that's interesting that they would like make a musical.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I've always kind of had a hard relationship with the musical genre because there's some that I like, there's some that I don't, and of course I'm kind of the person filed into the group of when the songs come up, it kind of stops the story and everybody sings for a bit and then things move on. But sometimes the songs are good, so that kind of doesn't matter. But it's just sometimes it's good if the songs work with the story. But most Disney movies just kind of stop the rails for me.
Oh yeah, well like Disney is like, if you go into Netflix and you look up musicals, half of them are like the classic Disney movies, not really like the newer Disney movies so much. Like all Frozen and Tangled do have like songs in them, like Let It Go.
Extremely viral songs.
Oh yeah. So like they do have songs in them, but they're not also known for that. Like if you hear like a song from like Hercules or Mulan, you know Make a Man Out of You. Everyone does.
Right.
But like, so like I feel like classic Disney used songs and music as like some of their core elements that really kind of like made the movie rememberable.
Right.
Especially because like with cartoons, it's hard to do it because while you have voice actors, the like characterization isn't like as big as like a real life movie. Like, you know, voice actors do bring something to the table, and like how the art is drawn brings something to the table, but sometimes like those don't really work together as well as we'd hoped. But like when like actual live like, you know, musicals come together, like in like movies, you remember the actors and the characters more than like if there was a song just like thrown in there.
Right. Like and like with a lot of times with the animated musicals, they'll switch out the actor when that's the one thing that's an advantage about animated musicals is that they'll have the actor for the acting, and when the song comes up, and if the actor can't act, they'll actually switch them out with a singer. They did that with The Lion King with Scar's actual song in that film. But with live action, it's kind of more difficult, and that's why I kind of have problems with movies like Les Mis and such, is that when there's acting in those films, it's good acting, but when they have to sing, it kind of just depends on the actor's ability, and to me, that's where it's like, then why wouldn't you just go see the musical instead of watching the movie? Because the musical people are trained to like act their lines as they're singing. So I'll like listen to the soundtrack for a musical, and then I'll listen to the soundtrack of the movie adaptation, and the singing just, you know, it's just not as good. Like they'll have a full orchestra, but it just won't be as strong singing wise.
Oh yeah, I totally like agree with that, and that's why like a lot of you know, when Beauty and the Beast came out with the live action version,
right?
Emma got like a lot of hate, not like hate, but like people were just like, she can't sing. Did you only cast her because, you know, she's famous? Like people know her as like Hermione Granger. And so like Disney got like a lot of hate on that because there's like, why didn't you hire someone who could like actually sing, other than like she was like, there are parts where you can hear she's kind of like auto-tuned, like, you know, they slid and they faltered a little bit.
Right.
But like I don't mind it as much, and I think, you know, using someone for their acting ability is kind of more important than like if they can sing, like you can change that, but like if you have like a bad actor but an amazing singer, like no one's gonna like that character. Everyone's gonna like hate that aspect of that movie. Like, why would you cast that person?
Right.
Their acting's horrible.
Right. Oh, man, and that's the thing that's going to be difficult when Disney is remaking all of their classic musicals. Like, you know, most of those movies are musicals, and now that they're having to remake everything in live action, it's like, okay, so now let's take all these songs that are beloved and do remixes that nobody really likes as much because you know, the original song is so ingrained in our minds, which is going to be difficult when we go into Milan when they're remaking songs that, you know, they're not even putting the love interest in that movie that rumors have been saying, so they couldn't even have, you know, the song that everybody loves.
But that's why I kind of like how Shrek the musical, I'm pretty sure Shrek the movie was like alive first, and then they made it into a musical because they had to make songs for it. So I think that was like really interesting. And to go like with along with those like you know, the real actors and stuff like that. Like when you go with like Sweeney Todd and stuff like that, like Johnny Depp is like an amazing like actor, but like his singing's okay, but you
Right.
can tell a lot of his was like spoken singing, and he wasn't like, you know, vibrato out the butt. Like you could tell like he's kind of driving the struggle bus. But I do agree with like how I like the breaks in plot, but
Like, is there any musicals that you'd like to see adapted into films?
ooh, that's a rough one. No, because like I love them as musicals, I think.
Okay. Well, that's all the time we have for now. After the break, we have Tiffany, Nayland, and Olivia with this week's hottest celebrity news. Stay tuned.